The November meeting of the Harwich Cemetery Commission to order at 8:10. And I'd like to welcome Rob to the commission.
Hi, happy to be here.
Good morning. Nice to see you. Wonderful to have you. Okay, I'd like to ask if somebody can approve the minutes from the September meeting.
I'll say we approve the minutes.
Okay, and I'll second them.
Okay. We also have on the call today Ashley Boudreau. She is our AmeriCorps member who's been assigned to the Marceline Arboretum project. So later on in the agenda, she's going to talk to some of the things that she's been working on.
Oh, great. Welcome, Ashley.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay. Robin, you want to go ahead with the correspondence from Town Hall and the associations?
Sure. The first letter we got was from the Board of Selectmen that appointed Robert to the, or Bob, to our commission, which we're thrilled now that we have a 3-member board. And that's great for us moving forward. And we're very excited to have you.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
For sure.
The second correspondence we have was an email from Pamela Small on her family lot in South Harwich. I believe we did discuss this before about the memorial being erected on their family lot. They have a large lot in that cemetery, and we just want to make sure that they can accommodate another headstone on the lot. So I think it's a very detailed letter. I don't know if you guys want me to read you the whole letter. It is in the packet, and now that the public gets the whole packet, they should have been able to read it. If anyone has any objections to placing a memorial on this lot, or should we move forward and allow them? They are going to move and steady the obelisk, which is now leaning, which is good for us. So they're going to be straightening out the original obelisk that's in there. It's a very small, it's probably 1.5 by 1.5 feet tall, long obelisk. And then they'll have their other monument to the left of the monument. It won't impede with any mowing or any maintenance issues that we'll be having in the cemetery, though.
So they want to put a memorial in addition to that?
Yeah, they want to do, so the one older memorial that's on there, the upright memorial, is on the right-hand side of the lot, and they had just had a recent cremation burial on the left-hand side of the lot. So they're probably going to have several cremations in that lot, and they want to do a similar memorial to the one that's there on the lot. Oh, there we go, Cindy.
I clicked the right button. Good morning again.
So is there anybody who objects to this, or you guys are in favor of allowing this?
Are you in favor, Robin?
Yeah, I am. I think that there's enough space on the lot, and they are going to address the leaning obelisk, which is their family lot anyways. So I think it's a good idea.
How many are they allowed to have on that size lot?
So normally you only get to have one upright memorial, but the memorial that's there is a tiny little one. You can't get any inscriptions on the actual memorial. And because we're allowing 4 cremations in each full body burial space, the lot still has 5 open spaces, which can accommodate 20 additional cremains. And they need another monument to make sure they're able to put people's names on it.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, it is a large lot. If it was a smaller lot, I think it would be an issue, but it's a significant size lot. So I think it has plenty of space. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I can make a motion that we allow that.
Okay.
Now second it.
And Bob, is it unanimous?
Are we all in favor?
I have no objections at all.
Okay. Okay. The next item in the packet was from Meredith Belanja, who we were invited to tune into a virtual swearing-in ceremony for the AmeriCorps members, which normally is you get to go to it, but we couldn't this year. So it was actually pretty well done. It was a nice PowerPoint. It had a PowerPoint presentation, and then people spoke. It was very. Ashley, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was really nice. We put together a video, and they showed that during it. But it was a regional, so it was a bunch of other AmeriCorps programs, but I think it went well.
It was pretty interesting. I didn't realize how many other AmeriCorps programs there were. Yeah. So it was pretty nice to see all the different different peoples and different groups around the country that actually are involved with AmeriCorps. I didn't realize that actually there's some seniors that do AmeriCorps, which I did not know that, which I thought was pretty fascinating. Okay, so our next item on the agenda is the letter from a new vendor, somebody who is from Falmouth, who is looking at installing memorials here in Harwich. All of our vendors who install anything in our cemeteries have to have liability insurance in order to dig in the cemeteries, to erect monuments and put in foundations. So I just contacted them. They sent me all of their insurance certificates and liability stuff. So they will be able to do memorials in our town. So they're just a brand new vendor. We just have to make sure every time. In each year, we make sure that all of our people who work in the cemetery have an up-to-date liability insurance through the town, just in case there's ever an issue. So we want to make sure that.
You said they are located in Falmouth, Robin?
They're located in Falmouth, and apparently one of their relatives was buried in one of our cemeteries, and they wanted to put up a memorial for them. So then they came down here and loved it and said, we'd be interested in doing more. So what do we have to do in order to become a vendor? So
awesome. That's great.
The next item in our packet is an email that I get every month on the cemetery accounts balances, and we had up through, I think, October. We should be getting, I think October 19th was the actual date. And at the end of the report in the cemetery revolving account, we have $89,624.84. So we have been selling quite a bit of cemetery spaces, and we have quite a bit of deeds that I have to make arrangements to meet with each one of you guys to have you sign off on the new deeds. We did have one lot return in Harwich, as the people are going to be buried in a different cemetery. I believe they're moving. So we have their letter in this packet as well. So we'll be giving them back their money that they purchased the lot for as well. But all in all, we're doing extremely well in lot sales. I actually have 4 appointments next week to meet with people to sell lots as well. I still think it's just the baby boomers planning. They're very good planners, and I just think that this epidemic has probably just made them more aware that, not that we're having any more COVID deaths. I don't want people to think that, because we have not. But, thankfully, but hopefully we won't. But I believe it's mostly the baby boomers just trying to plan. So the next item on our agenda is from the town of Yarmouth. So the town of Yarmouth has reached out to me, Bill Bullock, and Melanie Barron. They want us to do some GPR work in January or February of this year in their cemeteries and we had that on last month's agenda as well. So they have now picked January or February for us to do the scanning. I prefer to do it in January and February. The ground is frozen. We have very sandy soil, and when you do GPR studies, it gives you a much better read when the ground is solid. So I'm just working out a date with Brian Albee. He works for the DPW. We do the GPR work. It's a 2-person activity, so we'll be getting back to them with some dates. We also are going to be doing Brewster as well. And I don't have the dates for Brewster yet, but we're trying to firm all those dates up. I am going to try to get the machine calibrated at one point. I did reach out to the place in New Hampshire, Geoservices, who initially sold us the equipment. I just think it needs to be recalibrated. It's starting to get up there in age, and it might need a software update. So I will let you guys, I will keep you posted on that, about the recalibration. The next item on the agenda was an email that I got from Russ Allen. He attended, he's from the Cape Cod Chronicle, and he attended the Pine Grove Cemetery tour, which was given by Duncan Berry. I spoke at it as well. Duncan is an exceptional historian in our town, and he did a tour that was just great. So it was a pretty well-attended event. Everyone was socially distancing, which was fantastic. But I just put it in your packet just so you guys are aware that what the different events that are going on in the cemeteries that are usually not typically with the commission, but with outside people. So this was something that Duncan was working on with the Harwich Historical Society, and the Harwich Historical Society did it as one of their events. And I think they have a couple more events coming up this year in the cemeteries as well. But I'll reach out to them and see if I can get a date, so that if you guys want to attend those, then that'll be good.
Please do let us know when you're doing any of those.
Right.
We'd like we want to see what you're doing. No, we're very interested in it as well.
So the next item on the agenda is I got a letter from Kim Eaton, and anyone who's been in Island Pond knows the memorial that's on this email. As you come into Island Pond and you take a left, and then you would take a right onto, I guess it's Central Avenue. When you come down Central Avenue, and I believe this happened, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional, from the snowplows, when they come down Central Avenue and hit onto the main street, I believe they have pushed this memorial, tipped it back. They want to move the memorial back further on the lot and place a foundation and straighten it out, because it's leaning and it probably will break. It'll probably fall over eventually. I really feel it's an issue that happened with probably not intentional with the cemetery grounds crews. So I think that we should be paying for the foundation for that and having it moved. So I did ask Henry T. Crosby and Son about how much it would cost to move it. It is a significantly heavy memorial. So it's $490. And they would move it from where it's at 8 feet back. So it's now placed at the foot of the grave, and it should be at the head of the grave. I don't know who placed that initially, but normally the headstone's at the head, and this one was placed at the foot. So I think that the commission we should pay for this out of the cemetery revolving account.
I agree with you, definitely. There's not much room for those snowplows to maneuver in there, to get around. It's going to keep happening, and I think it's great that we should pay for it.
Okay, so Cindy, are you making that?
Make a motion that we pay for that moving of that memorial 8 feet back.
I'll second that. Yeah.
I'll make it unanimous.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Alrighty. So the next item on the agenda was the CPC application deadline, which was October 30th. As you know, I submitted 3 CPC articles this year. The first one was the East Harwich Methodist Cemetery Gravestone Conservation and Preservation. This cemetery gravestones are in really extremely rough shape. I have updated yesterday, I sent over to Elaine because I'm on the Historic Commission meeting for Wednesday night on both the gravestone preservation article and the granite posts and rails. So I just sent her more materials yesterday. I have now updated every single stone. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if I'd be able to share it. So what I did was I sent them some additional images. So this is the map of the cemetery. I don't know if you can see it. Mm-hmm. Every single stone in the cemetery that's going to be fixed, I have highlighted with the yellow marker. You don't just want to tell them that they're going to be fixing 45 memorials. You want to be specific as to which memorial and what needs to be done for each one. Some of them I just write are in 2 pieces and are face down. Others are like brownstone memorials, and they have flaking off of the face. They're starting to delaminate. So I want them to make sure that they know. I can send you guys all an updated version of this. I just like to be very clear on what memorials are going to be fixed, what's going to be happening to each one of them when we put it out to bid, so that we do get an accurate thing. Prices. Since I submitted the CPC article, though, we've already had, many of the stones are listing. They're like on a more than a probably, I don't know, 30-degree angle to a 45. I mean, they're starting to really fall. One of them has snapped. That wasn't in the original thing. I added that to this document. When I did meet and get a price for that, the lady who did our last gravestone conservation gave us a price for that. She had put in 3 of them. She thought 3 of them would fall by the time this goes to town meeting. So she had put that in kind of as the buffer, so that way the price would be correct. So I'll be mentioning that to them when I go for that. So it has 65 total repairs, 45 monuments, 20 footstones, 209 need to be reset or new foundations. There's 107 headstones, 2 cornerstones, and 100 footstones that will all be conserved. They'll be cleaned and treated so that, I mean, it'll look amazing when it's finished. So I'm very excited about this project, and I'm hoping that it gets approved. The CPC does have 3 historic preservation articles this year. 2 are from us, and 1 is from the Harwich Historical Society to do a basement and foundation and do like a lift system like we did at the South Harwich Meeting House. Of course, I'm in support of that as well. I think that the historic buildings in this town are vitally important to the town. So I'm hoping we have enough money for all 3, but if not, I'm sure maybe we could put 1 of them. I would have to go with the monuments first. The second one is the historic restoration of the fence posts and rails. There a lot of the rails are completely broken in half or missing completely. I also did a map of the grounds and updated them with which ones are broken, which rails have to be replaced within the grounds. And so this article is $127,750. I think I told you how much the gravestone one was. And the gravestone was $102,000. So they're both significant amounts of money. But hopefully they'll be approved, and I will keep you posted as to how my meeting went on with the Historical Commission, which is Wednesday night. The third article is one that Cindy has been working on forever. It is the Veterans Memorial Circle at Evergreen Cemetery, and I'm very excited about this article. I did get a letter of recommendation from Will Remillard on this article. We are hoping to erect the American flag, and then it'll be surrounded by each branch of the military. We'll be bringing electricity from the entrance that is on the 39 side, and it'll be going all the way up the road to the Veterans Circle. Inside the actual gazebo that's there now, we already have an electrical service for it to hook into, so that way when we have veterans events, they'll be able to be heard with a microphone, or if we need to play any music or anything like that. This is phase 1 of this project. Phase 2 of the project will be erecting a Civil War memorial and a Revolutionary War memorial at the site. And then we want it flanked with benches around. So we normally have had our veteran services at Island Pond Cemetery, which if anyone has attended them, it is very hilly and it's hard for our older veterans to navigate. This is a nice flat area, has a lot more parking, and I feel this is a more appropriate place for the veterans to have an outside space where they can stand and gather. So I'm very excited about this project. I have reached out to several people that will be helping me this year compile our Revolutionary War veterans. I did get some information from DAR. They only had 39 members listed in our town that was in the Revolutionary War, that was published in their 1977 article. I also reached out to Dana DaCosta, and then I found using a website that I have a database of all of the Massachusetts Revolutionary War veterans. I've been going through them. I'm only on D, and I've already found 39 additional Revolutionary War veterans from Harwich, who listed as Harwich as their hometown. I did reach back out to the DAR because half of those people now live in Brewster. Because the Revolutionary War was fought in the 1770s, and Brewster did not become a town till 1803. She says their town of record is Harwich, and if we are to do a memorial, it would have to be in Harwich because Brewster did not exist at the time of the Revolutionary War. So I'll be compiling that. I am going to reach out to the Massachusetts Record Department. I did reach out to Shawnee Carroll, our veterans agent, and she gave me the records information people for the Massachusetts State Archives for the veterans. They currently, because of COVID, are not working in the office as much. But as soon as I have my list completely compiled, I will reach back out to them to see if they can cross-reference and make sure that I haven't missed anybody. But Bob has volunteered to help me in this endeavor. I'm very excited.
I'm a veteran, and I would love to help out with this. And we've already talked about the genealogy aspect of it, and so I'm just here. Shoot me a text.
It's going to be, so by doing this well, is going to help us out with the flag holders as well. There are a lot of veterans that I have found, and then I go and look in my database. I don't even have them listed as veterans. So we'll be adding them to the database, making sure that they all get flags and flag holders for their appropriate war. And that way, when their relatives visit, some of them probably might not even know that they were Revolutionary War veterans or that they were Civil War veterans. So I think it's important for the history of this town so that people know how many of them actually were veterans. So I'm very excited about this project. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is from the Bitzers. They own G1 Oak Avenue, Graves B and C. They want to sell them back to the town. So we will be purchasing from them, and I do have that for you guys to sign off on. I'm sure it's 2 graves in Island Pond. I'm sure they'll be sold probably before the end of the year after we send them the check. So anytime somebody buys a cemetery lot in the town, if they choose to not be buried here, some of them end up moving to Florida or Maine or whatever and decide that that's where they're going to go. We buy them the lots back from them with the original purchase price. So if these Bitzers, they purchased their lot for $1,000, we'll be buying them back for a lot for the $1,000. So it works out for them and it works out for us. So I'm very, happy to do it for them and glad to get the inventory, actually. We were talking about the Arboretum software, and now we're going to go back out to bid. So I will get them some contact information. I'll bring it over to Griffin, and we will send all that information out on that. But now that we're talking about the Arboretum, I would like Ashley to tell you guys what she has been up to working on the Arboretum.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley, and I have been working with Robin on the Arboretum. We have been, the first couple of weeks we were just going out there and taking pictures of trees and the bark and the leaves, all because we're putting together a binder for all the different trees and shrubs that are in the Arboretum. So we have pictures, brief descriptions, just all that kind of stuff. We have some forms that for identifying different leaves, branches, flowers, buds, all that kind of stuff. I'm learning a lot about trees, so it's been fun.
Click on go back to the link and click on the bottom link. It says.
There's a lot more different trees in there than you think it would be, isn't there?
Yeah, it's crazy. My roommate went to college, not for trees, but she has this big old tree book. So I've been using this
to join us
to trees, and it's really amazing how many different ones there are. And it's been very interesting to do.
Oh yeah.
So what we're trying to do, me and Ashley, is we are going to be making tree tags. It's not a requirement to become an arboretum because we have all the trees identified on the map. So if you look in your packet, anyone can see that we have the little brochure, and then we have some of the trees identified already. So when you look at the location, and you can just pick any tree. So you can pick the black locust, and it's in number 1. So as you come in the cemetery, it's on the right-hand side. What we want to do is we want to do the scientific name, the common name, a brief description, maybe 1 or 2 lines, and a picture of what the leaf looks like, because the majority of the time, there's no leaves on the trees. So we are using this to work with the school district kids and allow them to use this open space. And a lot of kids who are homeschooled now have been using this map and going through doing leaf collections and, walking tours with their parents on the weekends or during the weekdays. So we just want to make sure that they're easily identified. So once we are finished compiling the descriptions, which Ashley has been working on, and it's a lot of information, and she gets very excited sometimes. She goes, do you know that one's poisonous? So it's fun to see her working on she's going to know more than I do, for sure, because she does all of the work. And then we'll have Russ Norton, who is from the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension. He will be reviewing all of our work to make sure that we are not making any errors before we have the tree tags made. Hopefully we'll have those pretty shortly. I'm thinking we should be done with all the descriptions, I don't know, in a month or so. What do you think, Ashley?
I think by the time we're back from break, like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Probably, I'd say like, yeah, beginning of December.
Yep. So, and then we'll have Russ look them over. So in the packet, we have the introduction to our plan for the Arboretum. We've had a lot of people read this over. Amy Uzowski worked with it on me on the different conservation parts of the goals and objectives. It's just one of the pieces in becoming an Arboretum, that you have a plan that you are going to maintain this place, that the trees are going to be taken care of. When Russ came and helped me write some of this as well, he did notice some of the trees are a significant age. He is going to reach out and get me the documentation so we can get either federal or Massachusetts funding for our mature trees, because there are other avenues that we can go to make sure that they're maintained. So we'll be reaching out and trying to get all of that information. Hopefully, if not at the next meeting, at the meeting after that. But we are working on identifying those trees, figuring out what specific maintenance they're going to need to keep them healthy, and so that we can have them in this cemetery for a long time to come. So very excited about that. So me and Ashley worked on this little sheet, which is an identification sheet, and it's a data collection thing. So in there, we want to know where the tree or shrub is growing in swamp or wetland or uplands. We want to know what its bark is like, what their leaves are like. Do they have broad leaves? They have needles, their leaf arrangement, if they have any color to any buds or berries or nuts or pine cones. So we're identifying all this stuff so that when we do have identification process going on with kids or with us, we have a photo of the whole tree, the leaves, the blossoms, the buds, the barks, the branches, the nuts, or the pine cones. So we are, the book is quite thorough in its identification, because we do not want to, misidentify a tree. So we've had a lot of help. Jerry Schumann and Diane DeGennaro, they're both master gardeners. They have been very helpful with us and very supportive. The garden club has been fantastic in giving us support for this project. So very excited to have those people working with us and helping us, guiding us along this path, which is new to me and Ashley.
Great work, ladies.
So the next, that's all the update on our ArborNet application process. So if you guys could just look over the description of our plan, the Arboretum plan, because I have to have you guys approve that in order for us to put it in the Board of Selectmen packet. The Board of Selectmen has to approve it because it is a town facility or outdoor space. So if you guys could get a chance, if you could review that and see if there's any changes that you want to do in there, and then get back to me by the next meeting, then we can make sure we put it on their agenda packet. Okay? It's pretty lengthy.
Robin, I'll send you an email. I don't think I got that one.
Okay, I'll send it separately because it was in the whole packet. It's just a lot of material in that packet. So I'll send it separately.
Yeah, I was just looking. I don't have that packet at all.
Oh.
It might have been before me.
That's 20 pages.
It's pretty long. All right, I will make sure you get that.
Okay, thanks.
So the Veterans Memorial flag holders are the next thing that's on the agenda. And we ordered the World War I and World War II from the last meeting. I'm going to hold off on how many Civil War and Revolutionary War veterans we're going to need until I finish compiling that list. I mean, we could order some right now and put them on the ones that we already have, but I have a funny feeling we're going to be ordering a lot more of them. So I don't know what you guys would like me to do. Right now I have veterans that I didn't order any Civil War veterans, and I know of 15 already that don't have any medallions right now. So they don't have a flag holder now at all. I think I can have a lot of that list compiled by the next meeting, which is December the 4th. And unless you want me to order some now, or you want to wait.
What's the minimum you can order?
I'd like to order 50 at a time, only because you get a break in the price. So I think what we should do is try to keep it and do it when we have 50. That's what I'm hoping.
We don't really need it until Memorial Day, right?
Correct. So I think I can try to compile that list. I've been working on it on the weekends too, because I just love it so much. So hopefully I can have that list as quickly as possible. And then we can, we'll make that decision maybe at the next meeting, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the cemetery signs. We try to do a couple signs each year in order to make sure that they all have signage so people know where they are. So we have done quite a few of them. And we do have a mistake. So one of the ones that we did the Old Methodist Cemetery sign, and it was established in 1758. And when we had them install it, they were supposed to install it at the Old Methodist Cemetery. And we also have the old East Harwich Old Methodist Cemetery as well, also known as the Union Cemetery. So they both have the similar names. So it is installed on the wrong cemetery. The reason why I know this is because it has the date of the first person who is buried, who's died, because that's its established date. So the Old Methodist Cemetery was established in 1758 with William Eldridge. And the Old Methodist Union Cemetery was established in 1797 with Ebenezer Eldridge, our Revolutionary War veteran. So the sign that's currently at the Union Cemetery needs to be moved to the Old Methodist Cemetery.
Right. From Church Street.
And I think when we make the sign for the Old Methodist Union Cemetery, I think it should say the East Harwich Union Cemetery. So they're actually, we could do East Harwich Methodist Union Cemetery. We have to have Union in there because they have the exact same name except for the Union. So because the church was founded originally on Queen Anne Road, and then when that church, I think it burned to the ground or something to that effect, then the new church was erected on the corner of Church Street. They have the exact same name, except for one of them has Union in it. And I think we really need to have Union in the name on the sign. I think without that, this is why the error happened to begin with. But we want to make sure that that is corrected. So first, I would like someone to make a motion that we get a yard arm and the installation to move the sign onto where it should be. And then second, I think we should get the new sign made to replace the one that's there currently.
I'll make the motion to correct that issue.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Oh, sure. Second, sorry.
Okay.
We're all in favor. I'll double check on that union name. I know that
So on all the documents that I got actually from the church and with the CPC article that I've written, the maps that I've been receiving from the cemetery itself physically says on all of their maps and all of their literature that, hold on, I'll bring it up real quick.
no, I'll take your word for it. Because the one on Queen Anne was the original cemetery.
They're calling it the East Harwich Methodist Cemetery Union Cemetery. So on all of their stuff, and they're on the, they also have a ton of Mayflower descendants that are in that cemetery, and it's always been known as the Union Cemetery for the Mayflower descendants. So
Right.
I think that we really should be using that in its name so that this doesn't happen again.
Right, I agree. That with the one on Queen Anne was the first grave when that
It
one.
was the first one,
The second one.
yeah, and then the church one is the second one.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, and I apologize about that error. If I wasn't going to the cemetery every single day and researching every single person that's buried in that cemetery, I would have never found it out. But the date on the sign said one date, 1758. So then I searched 1758, and it was William Eldridge, who was in the old Methodist cemetery, not the old Methodist Union cemetery, which is a little confusing. But we will rectify that and make sure that it's cleared up.
Great.
I do apologize, and I'll have to say something to the church so they don't think somebody stole their sign.
And should the sign say exactly what you had on that piece of paper?
I think it should. I mean, it's going to be longer, but I think that it should say, we could do instead of saying East Harwich spelled out, we could do E.H. Methodist Union Cemetery. I think it'll be too long if we put all the words in there. So if we put the old Methodist, I think if it says East Harwich Methodist Union Cemetery, I think it would be a lot clearer. Anyone agree or disagree? What do you think?
Well, the E period, H period, that may be confusing.
So don't even put that on there. It's in East Harwich, only because people think that's Chatham.
It should definitely say East Harwich.
Yeah, I just go for it and put it all on. Yeah.
Spelled out?
And we can't reverse it, right? We can't say Union Cemetery, East Harwich Methodist, blah, blah, blah.
We could. Do you want to do that?
But I mean, if it's listed that way, the other way, I mean, that may be not appropriate to do that. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? You think it should say Union Cemetery?
And East Harwich underneath it?
Well, what if we looked at this from somebody looking for the cemetery?
Right.
Say, I'm trying to find this cemetery because it's called this on that paper. Maybe we have to stick with the paper.
Yeah, the church
So
is
it
the
actually
East
says
Harwich.
the East Harwich Methodist Cemetery, Union Cemetery. I was like, which is confusing.
Names, yeah.
Yeah. So we want to have it not confusing.
So it's probably best to put it just like it was written on that paper. If that's how it's searched with online and everybody comes up with that, the way it's written there, then it'll come up.
Yeah.
If it's easier, then I have trouble searching stuff as it is, but
Right.
if you don't spell it right, you'll never find it.
Correct. All right. All right. So what is our final decision?
I think it should be the East Harwich Methodist Cemetery Union if you want underneath it or whatever, but because it's the East Harwich Methodist Church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we can just put Union underneath it? Or you have to go
East Harwich Methodist Union Cemetery?
I'm not sure. I'd like to ask somebody from the church, if you don't mind.
All right. I will reach out to them and I will get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That would be good. Clarify that.
So we have to make a new sign, correct?
We have to make a new sign. So
So now we can just change the size of the sign to have the proper title and enough room so it also says the Union Cemetery under that for.
I think it should say the Union, but I will confirm with them because I think that's what they put on all their literature.
Yeah.
And I just think it'll be clearer so people don't make a mistake. Like, does anybody have any other old business?
What's going on with the cemetery on Bank Street? I saw an email about them encroaching onto it.
So we have to hire a surveyor to survey it. I did talk to Griffin about that briefly, but I will ask him about that one more time.
Okay. You should probably get that.
We would have to get a letter written to the abutters about the encroaching. Okay.
Should we do that before we get it surveyed?
Well,
I think we got to know the exact bounds so they can see it too.
Yeah. So we don't have a town surveyor anymore. Normally, I would just ask Paul Sweetser to go down there and he would survey it. And then he would put the signs and then he would draft a letter, but we don't have that anymore. So now we have to pay for a surveyor to go out, survey the property, and then the commission would draft a letter to them.
Is it possible to hire a retired surveyor?
I'll ask Griffin.
I think we mentioned it once before because I know of a gentleman that might be free to do that.
Okay. All right. I will ask him.
Yeah, it'd be good to get it squared away finally.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we are moving into the budgets. We have to have our budget completed in the next couple weeks. I have met with Joe Powers and he has told me to put in a part-time office staff person into my budget. Hopefully it'll be approved. I mean, it's going to be an extremely difficult budget season this year. We've had a lot of loss of revenue in this town, and I know that the selectmen don't want any increases to go through, and neither does Joe or the board. So we're hoping that we get a part-time employee. But I will keep you guys apprised as how the budget process goes and what's going on with that. So we have already had an employee vetted by the union. We've already got a job description, and we did that all for last year's town meeting where we thought we would be able to fund it out of the cemetery revolving. They didn't think that that was a good idea, and they want us to put it as a budgeted item. So we are doing it as a budgeted item this year. So hopefully, and I will get back to you in the next packet. I will have a draft of our budget so that I can put it into Munis so that it can be reviewed by Joe Powers, our administrator, and then by the Board of Selectmen and Carol Coppola, who is the our town accountant. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
We also had discussion last month about the DPW cemetery department employees. Me and Cindy did have a discussion briefly with Mr. Powers, and we'll revisit this discussion at another point. We also had quite a few deeds that were sold this month. Here they are. So we have the bidders who were returning their deed. We had Mrs. Bunsick, who purchased 2 lots. We had the Woodlands, who purchased 2 lots. Both of those were in our Evergreen. Both the Bunsicks and the Woodlands were in Evergreen. We have a purchase of a lot in 2 graves in North Harwich. And then we had 4 graves and Island Pond. And I have 4 meetings coming up in the next couple weeks to purchase additional lots. So lot sales have still been pretty steady so far this year. It's probably better than usual. I'm going to give you guys an updated comparison probably at the next meeting, what we did last year as opposed to what we're doing this year as far as revenue, just so you have it. We have to give quarterly reports, so I'll have to have one done anyways for the Board of Selectmen at the end of December. So it'll just be like a rough draft for me, giving it to you guys. And then we can review it at the meeting and see if you guys have any questions about any of that information. I did email you guys the bills yesterday, so you should all have had that. And I did correct, I had an error on that cover page. But we had Eversource bills, we had WB Mason. I finally got my, I had ordered a new office furniture and supplies. We had all the water bills for all the cemeteries, and then my mileage for September. I wasn't able to finish up my mileage for October. Been a little busy, but I will have that at the next meeting.
Okay.
So if you guys could review those bills, Steve usually prints the cover pages and then he signs them. You don't have to meet with me to sign the actual cover page that I have. You can send an email that's saying that you have received it and that you are in agreement with those bills and that I can pay them. They do like me to have those in by this afternoon today. If not, I can put them in next week. But if you could review those and let me know if it would be okay for me to pay those bills, that would be great.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Were you speaking, Steve?
Nope.
Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to ask on the office furniture.
Yeah.
Not knowing this hasn't come up before, like a purchase, does that have to be approved by the commission or can you just do that yourself?
No, you guys, we did discuss it. I had to get new furniture because this desk can't be moved again. So we did discuss it, but it was like about 6 months ago.
I don't remember anything about it.
It was originally when we were talking about me getting a new office, we did discuss me getting a new. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what the procedure was. I wasn't questioning you doing it. I'm sure you do need it. Mean it that way.
Yeah. 6 months ago, I have no idea what we discussed about.
It was so long ago. It was when I was first talking about moving into a new office.
Right.
And this desk was the old chief's desk. I've never had any. I've been in the town since 2004. And the desk that I have, I inherited from 2 chiefs ago. Yeah. And I moved from the DPW over to the community center. Some of the drawers don't even open anymore.
Right.
I mean,
makes sense. I wasn't questioning you.
It's old, and we did discuss about getting a new desk. Yeah.
Are we about to verbally?
Office?
What?
Are you getting a bigger office? Are they moving that?
Well, that's still in discussions about getting my new office. I think temporarily they're going to move me over into the playroom where Ashley is currently. It's a big enough space that the both of us could be in there during COVID. And then we're trying to make arrangements with the veterans agents, seeing if they, Carolyn is trying to come up with a solution for a larger office for me here at the community center.
Good.
As soon as the building's not going to be open for a while, so temporarily, I believe I'll be going over into the playroom. And that way they can clean out this office and make it ready for somebody else, smaller office.
Good deal.
Okay. I did get an email and it wasn't included in your packet, so I'm just going to let you guys know, but I will put it in the next month's packet so you have it. We do have an annual meeting with the Board of Selectmen. It's going to be in January. It's going to be on January 4th. That is the cemetery committee. You'll all attend the Board of Selectmen meeting. Usually one person from the committee just gives our annual report, what we've accomplished this past year and what we're doing, what we have looking forward to next year. We also, I'm glad it's January 4th because we usually do end of the year synopsis anyways on all the stuff. So I'll have that report completed by the end of December anyways, and then you guys can review it. And then if we need to make any changes or updates. And at the last meeting, Cindy did ask Steve.
Pressure time.
If he wanted to be the new chair of the Cemetery Commission, and he was going to think about it. So not to put you on the spot, Steve, but we're just curious what your decision is.
I'll do that.
So Steve will be the new
I
chair.
thought he might like to take it over. He's been around for a long time. Let him have a turn.
Let's make a turn.
Oh.
Awesome. Thank
Welcome,
you.
Steve, as the new chair.
There you go.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to add? Or our next meeting isn't that far off. It's actually December the 1st, actually, which is the first Tuesday in December. What I'm going to be doing is sending out the go-to-meeting requests, pretty quickly so that way we can get them in. The next meeting, and I'd like to do that if you guys don't mind. Let me check my calendar because I don't have a wall calendar for next year. For January. Anybody have the January calendar?
Yep, the 5th is the Tuesday.
The first Tuesday is
The fifth.
the 5th. Okay. So I'd like to schedule that the 5th if you guys don't mind. So that way we have it all scheduled, because sometimes Daniela gets very busy, and if she's on vacation or something, I just would hate to miss a meeting because I didn't ask in advance. Sometimes it gets a little difficult. I don't want to put her under the gun at the last minute. So if everyone thinks that January 5th would work for them, I could put that in and request that now just so we have it.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the first Tuesday of every month again?
Yeah, and the other thing is I didn't know if you guys wanted to keep the meeting at 8 or you wanted to go to 8:30 or how do you feel about the time?
8 o'clock's fine with me.
Okay, is with everybody? I get up at 5, so for me, early is fine. I just didn't know if it was appropriate for everybody.
Works for me.
Okay,
I'm old enough now, I'm up earlier than this anyway.
okay, perfect.
Robin, I think it's kind of an ongoing thing. I'm not sure, but just to ask you if you could get the agenda and the meeting notes to us, like, I don't know if you can do it a week before our meeting or something, just so we have a little more time to review it and get back to you with things or whatever. And also, are we able to verbally approve the bills?
Yeah,
Can we do that now then?
okay.
I'd
But I
approve.
still think I would prefer if you guys would also then send me an email.
Okay, that's fine.
Just send me an email so that we approve it, and I don't have to download them, sign them, and scan them and mail them back.
Yeah, but so I have to submit it to the town hall, and they want documentation that you guys actually approved it. So if you all could just shoot me an email saying that you approved it, I can attach your email to
Okay,
the thing. Okay?
That's good.
so you don't need a copy of the bills with our signature on it then?
No, if you send an email, then that will be just fine.
Okay.
Do we have any other business?
Nope, I think I'm good. Want to welcome Rob, and nice to see you, Ashley. Good luck over at the cemetery. It's
Yes.
fun to have you working over there.
Thanks.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Nice to meet you all.
We're
Thank
going to
you.
do a little invasive species removal today.
Well, the sun is out. That's a good
So
thing.
much fun.
Thank you, Ashley. Take care. Nice to meet you again, Rob. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, Steve.
Nice meeting everybody.
Thank you, Robin. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Let's adjourn the meeting at 9:16.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I second it, or what? I don't have to second it, do I?
Yeah. And we're all in unanimous.
All in favor?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
All in favor, press the red X.
Press the red X. We're all done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Conference is no longer being recorded.
There we go.
Everyone have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
too.